Tanzania Vice President, Ambassador Dr. Emmanuel John Nchimbi, has announced his resignation from his position effective September 4, 2026, less than a year since he assumed office alongside President Samia Suluhu Hassan. In a letter dated August 25, 2026, and posted on his social media page, Nchimbi said he had written to President Samia to inform her that he had also decided to retire from active politics and public service. Nchimbi said his decision was made in accordance with Article 52C, read together with Article 149(2) of the Constitution of Tanzania. These articles set out the circumstances and procedure for a constitutionally mandated person to resign. But the most striking part of the letter is his explanation of the promise he made to President Samia on August 27, 2025, that he would serve her with ability and loyalty, but would leave the room if the president needed another vice president. The remarks has, however, raised questions about whether his departure was a purely personal decision or the result of political pressure within the ruling party. However, reports indicate that Nchimbi later was preceded by a meeting of the CCM Central Committee held on Monday night. Sources further claim Nchimbi was summoned and questioned regarding allegations that were circulating that he was undermining President Samia Suluhu. After the interrogation, reports indicate that the committee found Nchimbi guilty and had planned to present its recommendation before the Central Committee and later to the CCM National Executive Committee on Thursday. The committee was expected to recommend disciplinary action against him, including forcing him to resign. However, Nchimbi announced his departure before the committee could meet and make a decision. This sequence of events suggests that Nchimbi may have decided to preempt the party's decision and withdraw himself rather than wait for the announcement of the action against him.
Kama nina kitu cha kuwaambia Watanzania, ningewaambiwa ebu makamu wa rais waambie Watanzania jambo moja tu. Wakisema una jambo la kuwaambia Watanzania moja tu, unapewa nafasi ya mwisho, sema moja. Nitasema pambaneni mpate katiba mpya. Pambaneni mpate katiba ambayo ina makubaliano ya wadau wote. Katiba yenye mwafaka katika taifa. Katiba itakayotupeleka mbele miaka 50 inayokuja. Katiba ambayo kila Mtanzania popote alipo atajisikia fahari kujitambulisha, mimi natoka Tanzania.
Rumors about differences between Nchimbi and President Samia increased after the Vice President called for a new constitution to be adopted before 2030. He said a constitution with consensus among all stakeholders would help resolve political and social challenges, including injustices in Tanzania. On August 19th, the Department of Information suspended Mwanahalisi newspaper for 6 months after it published an article titled "Nchimbi Refused to Resign." According to Article 50 of the Constitution, when the position of the Vice President becomes vacant, the President is required to appoint another person as soon as possible and within no more than 14 days of the incumbent's departure. The position must be confirmed by Parliament by a majority vote before a new Vice President can be sworn in and take office. The Constitution also requires that the Vice President come from a different side of the Union from the President. Since President Samia is from Zanzibar, the next nominee must come from Tanzania mainland.
Kama nilivyosema, kujiuzulu unaweza kuweka sababu yoyote, lakini sababu hiyo ukiisoma kwa namna utakavyoiona unaweza ukakubaliana na mimi kwamba kwa namna gani unajiridhisha kwamba rais anahitaji mabadiliko. Namna pekee unayoiona utaona kwamba unaweza ukatambua iwapo kuna pressure, iwapo kuna vitu ambavyo vinaendelea nyuma ambavyo yeye inaonekana anaona haviendani, aidha haviendani na misimamo yake, au inawezekana ushauri wake hausikilizwi, au inawezekana kwenye mambo ambayo anahitaji yeye kutoa ushauri ashirikishwi, au ushauri wake hausikilizwi, au mambo mengine yanaenda bila yeye kujua chochote kwa namna gani kinaenda. Kwa hiyo kuona kwamba rais anahitaji mabadiliko, uwezi ukadhani kwa sababu kama rais alikuwa anahitaji mabadiliko, au kama makamu wa rais haendani na rais, au anaenda kinyume na maadili, then alitakiwa aende bungeni, rais alitakiwa aende bungeni akapeleke pendekezo, makamu wa rais apigie kura ya kutokuwa na imani na makamu wa rais. Lakini kwa sababu ambayo ameieleza yeye, ukiiona kisiasa unaona kabisa ni sababu ambayo inawezekana kuna msuguano, kuna mgongano nyuma ya pazia. Ndio picha ambayo inapatikana kwa mwananchi wa kawaida yote, mtu yote mwenye akili timamu, ina jibu ambalo analiona.
Nchimbi will remain as Vice President until 4th, the date he stated his resignation will take effect. All eyes are now on President Samia and CCM on his successor and the true meaning of the changes that led to Nchimbi's departure. Nchimbi has served as Vice President for less than a year since he was sworn into office on November 3rd, 2025. He succeeded Philip Isidoro Mpango, who was the Vice President between 2021 and 2025. Nchimbi previously served as the Minister for Home Affairs between 2012 and 2013 and as a Member of Parliament for Songea Town constituency from 2010 to 2015. Kevin Sewe, Mwanzo TV.